Take 3. Really? Really, Chris? Take 3? Yeah, the dogs were barking on the second take, and Marissa called to find out what I wanted to eat, and you don't want to see that. What you want to see is this. Chris talking about the Firesign Theatre. Right? I'm a big fan of the Firesign Theatre, and I've seen a lot of you guys post one picture of the Firesign Theatre and never talk about it again, because I think you're not prepared for what you're going to get. And I'm here to prepare you. I've seen the Firesign Theatre perform twice live. Once at the Knitting Factory, a small thing, a piece they were working on that eventually they put out on CD, and another time as a full-on concert at the Beacon Theatre, which is a pretty big place. And all of us were chanting the lines of their 4 best albums, and they performed them live as if they were, plays, just their words, just no props or really anything. And all of us were, right there, like it was a huge rock event. So why don't you know about them? Or, well, their time has come and gone. They were, big with hippies, big in California and elsewhere. Heady, not stoner humor, but, if you smoked pot, you probably dug them. They were on a different wavelength. So this is their first album, Waiting for the Electrician or Someone Like Him. First side, I guess, kind of makes fun of hippies and stuff like that, or maybe things that hippies would be interested in. And the second side is Waiting for the Electrician or Someone Like Him, which is a kind of a Kafkaesque piece, almost like Marathon Man, with the, is it safe? Well, they keep on asking, may I see your passport? And then it goes into this thing, and then, again, it's like a nightmare. And it's, these 4 guys are the only thing that's going on, and they used multi-track tape, which was, new for comedy. And this isn't comedy. That's the thing that, let's see, I've seen Steve, Fairchild, Casey, Wes, and Dave, DJ Thunder, 1970 show the records. They're funny like the New Yorker's funny. They're not funny like Cheech and Chong or, sketches like the National Lampoon. They're pieces. They're pieces of art, really, and they're complicated. The way they sold it, the way they said it, was these are movies for your mind. And that's what they're like. They're like movies, and they're amusing, filled with puns and references back and forth through their catalog, and there's symbolism that only makes sense in their world. Like you hear on almost every one of the records about taking your shoes off, which is a symbol for return to nature and innocence, and kind of like the hippie ideal. So you hear that often, and you'll hear someone yell "shoes for industry," and so it's an idea that's even taken onto another idea. You know what I mean? And it's got that brown shoes don't make it Zappa kind of feel to it. So anyway, Casey showed this one. How can you be at 2 places at once when you're not anywhere at all? It is not called All Hail Marx and Lenin. And so this is setting you up for kind of a jokey thing. And the first side is not jokey. It's a guy buying a car, and he turns on his, it's sort of the future or something, like an alternate reality, and he turns on the climate control for tropical paradise, and he's transported to a tropical paradise, and a joke that always runs through these is, he's no fun, he fell right over, and you hear that on almost every one of those records. So they're very influenced by the Beatles. Beatles did that, where they made they made inferences to other things, that's come before. So on side 2, Nick Danger, Private Eye, which is like a 1930s Raymond Chandler radio play. There's almost 30 Beatle references scattered throughout the piece, and again, heady, weird stuff. On side 2, they want to see what's going on, and they start listening to the record, but the record's turning the opposite way because you're on the other side of it. So part of the piece 1 is played backwards, and side 1 is about America and what makes America great, and it goes into the song where it starts listing racial epitaphs, and that's so what makes America great. everybody, the melting pot, all these minorities coming together, but we still see each other in terms of race and, classify and try to, gain power on each other with these terms, so that's a concept that lasts 5-10 seconds, and you get something from that, but it's amusing, sort of, you know what I mean? So these are pieces. They're full-on pieces. So when Ralph Spoilsport, the guy in the beginning of the side one, on the end of side one, breaks into, I think, James Joyce, I would say yes to say yes, my mountain flower, and that poem, it's a trip, man. It's a trip. So this is a great record, and it takes many listens to reveal what's going on. Like, there's a train, and the train is the 4 presidential, nominees, for the, at the time, they come and they go, and it's quick. And somebody orders a pizza on this, and you hear it on this. You hear the other side of the conversation on side 2. This is an amazing record. Fire signs, they're dressed up as the 4 fire signs of fire, earth, air, and water. It's about a guy, George Leroy Tirebiter, a joke at the USC mascot, a dog. And he's watching himself on TV. He's an old man. He's watching a televangelist in the beginning. And it's, again, another world where there's just poverty, and everyone's clamoring for food. And the preacher said, all you need to say is more food, more food. And he, and he starts doing that. And the preacher reaches through the TV and gives him food. And it's an amazing sound effect when you listen on headphones. And speaking of sound effects, they make fun of the sound effects of the radio. A guy comes in, he says, come out of the cornstarch and put your shoes on the cellophane. Making fun of the cornstarch noise, which sounds like snow, and the cellophane, which is supposed to be fire. So, anyway, there's 5 sections of this guy's life, and he watches them, and part of it's he was an actor, and it's this kind of terrible 50s, teen movie, and he was also a soldier, and all these things come together, and they're cut up, and they go back and forth, and they're it's complicated. It takes a lot of listens to get all the nuances of what's going on. And again, if you think of them as audio pieces and not so much, this is supposed to make me laugh, you're going to get a lot more out of them. This is by far just a tremendous production, and a great record, which leads on into my favorite record. I think we're all bozos on this bus. This one ends with him running after, he regresses into childhood, and you hear him running after an ice cream man. To kind of regain, I guess, his, besides as we get older, we get younger, but also is he regressing in time? We don't know, really, in the piece. So, anyway, again, that's pretty heady. For a stupid guy. Right. So this one opens with, you hear the guy running after the ice cream truck, and then a bus comes by to pick up, everyone's unemployed, and half the population are went to clown college. So it's making fun of college, right? It's making fun of mass unemployment and all these things, and just instant little write-offs that if you're not paying attention and think of the whole concept, you miss the nuance. Again, missing the nuance, right? So it goes to the Future Fair. So the Future Fair is making fun of Disney World, which opened the same year as this album came out. And there's a kind of this weird, disjointed telling of history, and that's also kind of making fun of, well, how can you sum up something in 10 minutes, like the World Fair exhibits try to do. And the main character, Clem, he says his name, Clem, at one point, and the computer recognized that, and he's always constantly referred to as Clem, which Idiocracy stole that joke. Not sure was the guy's name in that movie. Anyway, he was an employee of the fair and then fired when it was built. So he wants to mess around. So it's about hacking, computer hacking. Right? 1971, that's a pretty weird, nobody knows what that is. And so he breaks into the he asked the Hall of Presidents, the president there, the animatronic, a question. He asked him a question he can't answer, which the computer can't not answer a question, right? Logically, that doesn't make sense. So it starts freaking out and it starts spitting out error codes. The error codes it's spitting out is Lisp programming language, a dead computer language, but back then it was the bee's knees. And it's making fun of the ELIZA program, a primitive program that a lot of people probably played with. Like, it's a fake psychologist. You say, "I'm upset," and then it says, "Why are you upset?" And it picks out phrases and just kind of goes through it. So anyway, so computer hacking, right, on this, and it's just again I took my shoes off, so now it's making references to other things, and Wes showed this. Now, those guys were on the radio at the time. They developed a lot of material on the radio, and this was originally a series that went out. I think it was 10 hours, 15 hours, on hour-long discs. They went out to certain radio stations, and this is the edited down best bits of it. They're not a bits group, so this is not great. Since they're not full on pieces, they don't hold up. They're not interesting. So I'm sorry, Wes, this is not that great. Dave showed Not Insane. This is trash. This is just utter garbage. The group said so themselves. I guess were forced to make a record. They're still playing with material. It didn't make any sense. Side 2 is this Shakespeare thing, which it's just awful. Dave, it's just awful. It's and I know these things are kind of rare-ish, but my uncle Bobby loves this album, Giant Rat of Sumatra. I don't think it's that funny. It's making fun of Sherlock Holmes and that kind of style of writing and storytelling, and so this is Hemlock Stones. A lot of drug use in this, which is making fun of Sherlock Holmes' drug use, not theirs. I think it's a mess, but he loves it. I don't get it. However, these two albums are fantastic. Everything You Know Is Wrong, kind of making fun of the New Age and UFO and conspiracy stuff in '74, and that's pretty cool. And so is In the Next World You're on Your Own. I'll be honest with you, I haven't listened to this album in 20 years, but I remember liking it quite a bit. And Columbia, Firesign Theatre should be all good stuff. David Osman's How Time Flies. This is a solo piece, but it really involves the Firesign Theatre, so think of your kind of a solo album like Imagine, right? But Harrison and Starr show up, right? So about an astronaut who comes back to Earth, and it's this whole weird time loop thing. And Harry Shearer stars on it too, and that's kind of interesting. Best of, rare. It's got kind of an A and B, and I don't know. Best of, again, they're whole pieces. There's a couple more solo albums. Phil Austin's Roller Maidens from Outer Space. That's they're all kind of the time, and they don't work as well. So, TV or not TV, and comedy of Give Us a Break here, and they're not great. This is also, kind of, I think, of an election, and not so funny. Not a full-on piece. It's, then there's the Rhino albums. They're all okay. I don't find Shakespeare. I don't like Shakespeare anyway, so making fun of it is not really for me. Nick Danger, In Case of the Third Eye. So this is kind of like an EP. It's good. Fighting Clowns is actually a great piece. This is drawn by Phil Hartman, the comedian Phil Hartman. This is a little bit dated. It's really about Reagan-era politics. Continues the clown motif, but still. Eater Beaten is this is not on Rhino. This is on Polygram, Mercury. This is an interesting thing about video games, and it's this whole world. It's cool. And Lawyer's Hospital is also kind of funny, but of the time, they were making more topical things as they got older, and that's where their interest was, I guess. So hopefully that kind of give you a little appreciation for the Firesign Theatre. I mean, it's hard to wrap up 4 brilliant guys, whole catalog in 14 minutes here. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or, you want to talk more about it, shoot me a message down here, find me on Facebook, whatever. And that's, those first 4 albums are great. And if you find I Think We're All Bozos on This Bus or Don't Crush Me This Dwarf, Don't Crush the Dwarf, Hand Me the Pliers, get either of those albums. They are pieces of art. They are pieces of art. They are amazing albums that take multiple listens to get everything, and are, very rewarding. And that's it. All right, take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.